So metals and miners could be the next shoe to drop on the positive side to the upside. Right now we're seeing a lot of buying activity coming into the mining sector, but also the stock market right now could be getting ready for that rollover. And so therefore my whole focus right now anyway, from a trading perspective, is on the metals and mining sector. And that's what I want to cover with you guys in today. Traders, I'm running a webinar today. On that webinar, I'm going to just teach you everything that I know about trading, how I got started, the biggest mistakes I've made, and then I'm going to teach you my trading system. I'm going to show you how I scan the markets and how I find the trades, and how I trade only 1 hour per day to have all my trading done. So if you're interested in learning that sort of stuff, guys, and you want to know exactly how I trade the markets and what sort of system I use to trade, then there's that first link in the description. You can go join my next webinar, and I'll share with you all the details there, and I'll help you guys out from there. So one of the things for me personally, over the last sort of, I would have to say month, I've been giving warning signals about the stock market peaking out. And I've been saying my main focus has been around the silver, gold, and the mining sector indexes. And the reason why is because I'm always looking for that next market to likely to have a big move. Now, if we understand this from a concept of markets, and that is if a market has already made a big move. So we look at the stock market here right now. This is the stock market, okay? The market, this is the Dow Jones, NASDAQ as well too. If a market has already made a really big move, well then we know just by the nature of these markets and how they flow that we're probably not going to continue having a really big move. There's a 1% chance of that happening, right? Meaning that if the market, as you can see all through here, that the market, when the market starts to make these really big moves to the upside, we typically do go through these correction periods, right? There's a correction period. So even in a very big bull phase, and if that's what we're in right now, which I do believe we are, we're still going to run out of steam on these legs up. We're going to go through these correction phases. And that's what I believe we're getting towards to right now in the stock market. And we can see we're actually sort of holding through here. Now, if I go down to my hourly charts, check out this. So this is my hourly chart on the NASDAQ, and the same thing for the S&P 500 as well too, okay? So for a long time here, right, for a long time, the market was very strong to the upside, okay? And now the thing is that whenever we're looking at the markets, the rule number one for me, again, on the webinar, I'll teach you all the details to my trading system. But rule number one that I have for my trading rules is I must trade with the trend, right? I must trade with the trend. One of the worst mistakes I see so many people doing is shorting against the trend. Now, what does that mean in logical terms? That simply means if the market is continuing to make these lows, higher lows, higher lows, you start to make these higher lows, there's a very strong chance that that trend is going to continue, and we're going to see a really nice move back up. Make sense? So we're going to see a really nice move back to the upside if the trend is likely to continue. So don't fight the trend. And also the reasons why I don't like to fight the trend is because if you do, could you imagine trading heads and shoulders, divergences, double tops through this bull phase through here? You've been getting destroyed, right? So if you're a against the market trader, you know you're having a hard time with these markets, right? That's the worst thing to do, especially in this market right now, going against the markets, okay? So we can see that through there. So if I show you what's happening now on the stock market though, a higher low is when the market continues up, higher low, higher low. As long as we keep making these higher lows, the buyers are in control. But what can start to happen is we can start to come down through to here, rally up, and then create a lower high, and then we start the downtrend. So we have this lower high point through here and breaking past this previous low. You see that through there? So what I'm showing you right now is obviously on the daily chart, we do know we're very overextended. So we're probably going to get a bit of a pullback soon. And so looking at this level from here, from a pullback perspective, we can now go to the hourly charts And the hourly charts are doing what? The hourly charts ran up, made this lower high point through here, and now we're starting to falter. And now, if the market does roll over here and we start to get this, and we break this level here, we're probably likely to start to see a lot more of a drop, and then we're probably going to continue to see a very weak August in the markets. And so that's what I'm seeing there right now on the stock market, very overextended to the upside. That's the S&P. Same for the NASDAQ as well too. The same type of situation for the NASDAQ and a lot of the indices as well too are just looking really, really weak. Same for the Dow Jones as well too. But that's that sector there. For me personally, I've been honing down on the metals and also the mining sector right now. Not because I love gold or I love the mining sector. No. I'm always just looking for what's that market that's likely to have the next drop? Meaning, what's the market that's likely to have the next big move? And let me hone down on that. If you've been watching me now for the last few months, you would know that for me personally, I was getting in on Ethereum before Ethereum took off. I got into platinum before platinum took off, and so on and so forth. So, when I'm looking at a few things here, this run right now is the gold market, and gold could be getting ready for another really big move to the upside. If we look at this weekly chart here, look at this weekly chart. We've continued to do the same thing over and over and over again, up and then down. Right, as you can see, we've done these nice moves up, nice move down, higher low, higher low, higher low, and now we're coming down through to here. So there's a massive probability we're about to see one more final push to the upside. And I believe it's going to be one more final push before this major bull trend is now come to an end. So there might be one more little push to the upside. I say little, right? But really, ultimately, probably 4,000. We're probably going to get to 4,000 after this breaks out and starts to see a nice move to the upside. So gold is getting ready for a nice big move. Why? I want you to think about the market as an energy force, right? And this is where you're understanding this here. When the market goes up for a while, all through here, that's using a lot of energy. The market's using energy to buy it up. Now, eventually the market's going to run out of energy, right? It's going to run out of energy. Therefore, guess what happens? Then we go through these quiet periods for a few months. The market is building energy, and then we start to use that energy. And then after a while, we run out of energy, and then we build the energy again. And then after a while, we release it. Then we start to use the energy, buying it up. And then we go through another energy building phase. You see, this is what the market's been doing, ever since the 2024 lows, right? All through here, and then all through there. So using energy, building energy, and this is where the best trades is after one of these energy building phases. Why? Because you're getting in on that next energy using phase. One of the worst mistakes that people do is they wait for the energy using phase, and then people are like, oh, it's going, let me quickly get in. And then it does that on them, and they just don't understand what's going on. It's like, oh, market's gone against me and all that sort of stuff. But you can see why I'm saying gold's likely to go out, right? Why? It's a very simple concept. When the market's built a lot of energy, when we do start the break, we're probably likely to go through another energy using phase, especially in a very big bull market from here, right? Let's go look at this actual silver price right now. Silver right now definitely did actually break out of this. So we had this massive, not much going on for about 12 months. And now we're starting a higher low. We've come back down to the 52. The 52 is trending up. So there's a massive probability that silver's about to start to see some really nice moves, in particularly back up through there as well too. So silver, real short-term shake and bake out of silver. And it's probably got a lot of people sort of freaked out about silver, but the trend is still up. Momentum's still up, which is the moving average. So we're probably likely to continue this. And if I go to my weekly chart now, right, we can see here that silver's probably going to hold, and then that next resistance is up there around that 44 level on the good old gold. Silver price there. So silver looks like it's about to start to see a really nice move to the upside. And the reason why I'm saying that is the way that I've seen these markets work so well in the past is we see that we've actually had a really big sort of strong sideways through here. Whenever this happens, right? Whenever this happens in the markets, we typically go through these sideways periods from here, right? And when we go through these sideways periods from here, when we do break out, we're now starting a new trend. And whenever that happens, we typically go through what's called 3 major stair steps. So this might be stair step 1, stair step 2, and there might be another third stair step coming soon. That's on average as well too. But after doing nothing for a while, we're likely to be starting a new trend. Now, trading silver is also a wildcat, so you also want to be, a lot more patience is required from trading silver here. One of the things I've been talking about with my 1% group, and I was even talking about this with them today. I have my 1% group, which is, by the way, it's a real small group, just over 10 people right now. And that 1% group is, we all come together for an hour or 2 per day. We go through these markets and we really go down and we talk about not only the trading systems and the trading setups and what's happening now and what I'm doing, but then also I'm coaching you through the mindset, right? When to be patient, when to cut your losses short, when to get in, when to get out, what's the next market likely to move. So the platinum and all that sort of stuff, I did that in the 1% group. If you'd like to join that group, guys, where you're actually with me every day, if you've been struggling this year, then you need my help, right? I promise you. Give me 3 months with me and you'll make more progress with me in 3 months than you have in the last 3 years. Because I can show you exactly what to focus on, what to do, and I can coach you every single day. Plus, you'll be part of a nice, good, small group of just over 10 people. So if you're interested in joining that 1% group, then there's that link in the description there. You can apply for that. But one thing I was talking about with them on my 1% group was I was talking to them about how a lot of the times that, especially this year, we've had to be a lot more patient with our trades. In the past, whenever I get into the trade, typically very shortly, I'm making profit really quickly. This year, a lot of my really successful trades have been over the course of a month, have been not doing much for a few weeks, and then we start to see big moves out of it. It's happened time and time and time again. And I do say that for people that are short-term trading, if you're short-term trading, meaning you're getting in and getting out within a day, and within a couple of days of these markets, you're probably getting your head handed to you right now in these markets. Because these markets are running you over big time, right? Because you're trading these markets the wrong way. This is not a short-term trading environment right now. It is more like you need to get into some really good swing trading and give it 1 to 2 months for it to really play out. And that's how you end up making some really big profits. Or for me anyway, this year has been that, because sometimes it takes a couple of weeks for these trades to get going. And then a month, 6 months, 6 weeks later, you know, I'm now making 2, 3, 4, 500% return on my trades. And that was a really, really, really big profit, but it came off the back of knowing that I might have to be patient with these trades. And this is what's happening with the mining sector right now. Right, look at the GDX. GDX is just breaking out, right? We're just breaking out. It's just breaking out right now, and it's just getting started. We're about to see a really, really, looks like it, and then with this volume increase right now as well too. This is the GDX. This is the GDXJ as well too. We're about to see some serious movement. This is the GDXJ. This is the SIL. Look at that volume there, right? This volume is starting to really increase. Big up bar today as well too. We're almost breaking above this resistance level here on the SIL. And once that happens on the SIL and this volume here, right? And this is where you never want to trade with the trend, right, guys? Trade with the trend. Now, remember what I said before about energy phase, right? The energy using phase, market goes sideways, it's building energy. Market's used energy, it's now building energy. What do you think's coming next? Because it goes through phases. We use energy, and then we go through building energy. And after we build enough energy, we go for another energy using phase. And then we're now building energy through here. What do you think's coming next? The energy using phase, where we're actually using energy. The market typically goes for a move, and the high probability is after the energy building phase, there's the energy using phase, and typically a high probability that's with the trend. So if the market goes up first and then we get this, there's a high probability we're likely to see this up move from there as well too, right? And so that's what we're seeing right now. You're actually seeing on the GDX as well too. Look at this here, right? Come on now. Boom, there we go. All right, cool, right? Look at this here. Look at all that energy building phase. Sideways, building energy for a couple months, and now we're just starting to break out. Why is it breaking out to the upside? One, the trend is up, right? So we're making higher lows, so you trade with the trend. And secondly, you've now built a lot of energy for us to go for another move here. And this is where, if you actually look at my Ethereum trade that I did, and I'll see if I can just bring this up here. It's the same thing, right, guys? It's the exact same thing. Why did my Ethereum trade be why did Ethereum have such a big move? Because look at this here. Ethereum did what? Energy using, and then we had a big energy building phase for 2 months. I got into it down here saying we're about to start to go through an energy using phase, and it's probably going to be with the trend, and therefore we had this big move up, and I made, I think it was close to 500% return on my risk, right? Because I actually bought Ethereum, so not on my margin, but I made close to 500% return on the risk that I actually put onto that trade. And that's because, as you can see, right, and everything goes in cycles like that. So it's actually not that complicated when you see it. And once again, you can go back through to the gold market as well too, and stuff like that. And if you go back down to, say, SIL as well too, then the SIO is doing what? The SIO is doing the same type of thing, isn't it? You can see this through here. We go through this up, sideways, and now we're continuing back up again from here. So especially a lot of these markets from here, if you look at this, say the SIO on the big picture, if we start to break above this level here, which if I go down to here, if we break above 52 with conviction, which looks like it's gonna start to happen, now it may not because we're not there yet, but with this volume here and a really strong, bounce in that direction, if we start to break above this level here, the mining stocks are probably going to go for a really, really big move, and we could possibly start to see this thing possibly even start to get back up towards that 75 level from there. So once we break this level, we could be starting to see a moonshot move in the silver sector and also the silver mining sector, and just the metals and miners. So as the metals and miners are starting to break out, looks like we're about to start to get a lot of weakness in the stock market.